Hey guys, I got something to say. I know this is just a Dead by Daylight content kind of thing, but I have to say, since the new killer has come out, I think he is kind of strong, maybe too strong, but I feel like he is way more balanced now than he was in the PTB. As of playing him constantly since he's been released, I feel like that if you got, I don't know if I have them being played over here or something, or if I'm just doing an over voice for this, but if you watch the gameplay while I'm talking about this, you'll see I don't even try, and I'm using my controller on a few matches because, as of a week ago, for from me recording this, I got hit by a car and I have to prop up my leg for it to reduce the swelling and put ice on it and all that stuff. I don't even have to try with this killer, and I'm getting 4Ks with him. And I'm using a controller. On mouse and keyboard, it's a lot easier, and I don't have to try as hard, but it's still obnoxiously easy to play as him. And honestly, he might be my best killer if I keep getting better with him. The thing I don't use is his hand, where I lift up the pallet. I don't use that at all. I literally have to either turn around and use it just so I could use it. I don't know if it gives you points. I just use it just cuz. Or I just do something else with it. I mean, like, it's, I use the other powers for my advantage, and if you're wondering why I'm using the same build with this killer that I'm using as my, pretty much the same build as my Xenomorph, is because when he's undetectable, he can't be seen by his aura. So I use that to my advantage, so that way the gauntlets and the boots are useless. I don't know if the eye and the hand helps you see Vecna when he uses his powers. I really don't know. I have yet to obtain it as the survivor. Even during the PTB, I never got it. So I use that to my advantage because I'm just trying to level him up or prestige him to prestige 3, and because of this, when I'm done with my Death Slinger, which should be coming back next week, I might do it a little sooner because my leg is actually to the point to where I don't have to prop it up as much anymore. Still hurts, but I am generally excited to play this killer. Instead of spinning the wheel to try to get him randomly, I'm actually deciding to use him on the next one. I feel like that if he's going to be my best killer, I'm going to figure it out soon. Because after this, I want to do Oni and see if he's my next best killer. You never know. Him and Oni have been my two best killers without me trying. I don't try. I don't go for 4Ks with these killers, and I'm getting them with absolutely no problem. And it's really fun, because if it's an easy killer to play as for me, it makes it that much more fun. And you're gonna be like, but your Legion is a weak killer. I get 4Ks with him too. He's a weak killer. I made him strong. It's the fun part about playing this game. You can make weak killers into strong killers if you know how to play them. And that's why I'm doing this learning the killer thing. While I'm doing this stuff all the way through for P0 to P3, just to unlock his stuff for the other killers to use these abilities, because, ow, it's really cool to see that the Lich, hopefully I didn't say it with an N this time, he is a lot of fun to use. I swear to you, he is not overpowered. He just seems like it. And I'm going to try to use him without perks, eventually, to see if I can, because as of doing the Xenomorph, I finished him months ago, and I'm on Deathslinger, with the perks that I'm currently using are going to be old compared to what they are in the future, because new DLC characters are going to come out and new perks are going to come out, and because of that I need to try to reuse these characters, hence why I'm only doing 2 Prestige 10 for the first trial, quote-unquote trials, of me learning the killers. I'm going to save the rest of the Prestige levels for, I don't know, probably another 10 with the new perks to see if I could still utilize them. See if they're obsolete, to see if I could still make them OP kind of thing. Because if you think about it, the perks that I'm currently using for the Xenomorph, one of them has been changed up so much that it literally went from being really too strong to extremely weak to back to the way it was again, but this time instead of in your terror radius, it's within a 32-meter radius of the locker, which is literally the same thing as it was when it first came out, but instead of your terror radius going with you, it stays in that one spot of your terror radius pretty much. So, it's still a strong perk, but it's not as strong as it used to be. It's been hardcore nerfed, then brought back to where it was originally, but stationary, which was a very smart move for them to do. Unfortunately, there's other things that get nerfed, and there are other things that get buffed. And because of this, I am generally curious on how things would look in the future when I go through these killers again, and that's why I'm not getting rid of them off the random wheel. Whenever I put them onto the random wheel, I could use them again after I've done at least one of every character. The ones that I'm looking forward to the least amount, I fucking hope I don't have to do them so early, but not too late, because I want to finish off the first 10 prestige levels for each killer pretty early and pretty fast, and then 10 prestige levels after that, which is going to be kind of technically longer outside of the Xenomorph due to I started them off at 0 instead of 3. Some killers you're going to see I start off at like higher prestige level, but I'm trying to get them all to the point because I already know them pretty much. You know, Trapper's at P6 right now, and I didn't think of doing this until, I don't know, until Wesker was out. I was going to P3 everybody, and that's including the survivors, because I want to do the similar thing with the survivors, but it's more of I'm going to do random builds even if people don't like using them. So I'm going to do that too. Learning the survivor, I guess is what you're going to call it. Learning in general of this game. It's not going to be just exclusively to this game. It's going to be to other games too, because there are games out there that have characters that are like Overwatch, and I'm not ever playing that game again because, sorry Blizzard, you've done us wrong, and unfortunately, even if you pay me $1 million, I am not going to back you up on that, because you can't bribe people like me with money when we want good gameplay. If you're going to make the game free, why'd you take away one of the features that helps it out to make it free? Loot boxes. That shit was fun. I enjoyed it. Dead by Daylight isn't doing it. They didn't even start off with it. They didn't even have cosmetics when they first came out. So, kind of wanting them to do a unique random thing that they could do to where you can, outside of the copyrighted characters of course, where you can get random loot boxes to get this stuff, but they do a battle pass thing, so it would make it obsolete. So if Overwatch did it correctly and kept it to where it was the loot box thing and have hundreds of common cosmetics for every character and make it extremely hard to get the really, really rare ones that everybody wants to have, you can do it that way. I mean, like, you're still going to make money one way or another. Make it extremely difficult to get these extremely rare cosmetics. I'm one of those people that is willing to put in the time and effort to do that. And if I really want that outfit, like I did with Junkenstein, I will literally put the money in to either try to randomly get it or just straight up buy it. I mean, like, it's not that hard. Junkenstein I finally got, but then that's when y'all went to Overwatch 2. Valor, I don't know. There's other games out there. Gundam, unfortunately, is not a thing anymore, which is very disappointing because that was a fun mech game. Let's try to bring that one back. I really want that one back. But Dead by Daylight in general, I did not mean to do that. I was taking this off. Dead by Daylight in general is one of those games to where they started off this way and they're trying to make more money. Makes sense. I want them to make money. Otherwise, we're not going to have the good Dead by Daylight that we want. I feel like that the game should go back to its original roots to where it was horrifying. You're able to hide, do hide and seek stuff, or have the option to play as it is currently is. I love playing stealthy. You guys are probably going to be like, but that's boring, it doesn't make it fun. It makes it fun for me. If you see me play games like Far Cry, I do a lot of sneaking around. I legitimately kill that before it gets out of context. I unalive myself in the game when I mess up my stealth just to start the mission over. I really hate messing up my stealth, and it takes a long time to do it. The only time I give up on it is if I notice that it's near impossible, if not impossible, to be stealthy. And that's whenever I use as much stealth as I can to take out as much as I can during that time. And my favorite killers and builds are stealth builds. So it kind of brought over to this as the killer. I don't like being the I'm out in the open kind of killer. I like to hide. And you see me go out in the middle as Vecna, the Lich, in this because of the, well, he can't be stealth. But being undetectable is a version of the stealth that I really like to do. And because he's, able to have his aura read at all given times, at any given time, when you use his ability, making him undetectable, you can't see his aura, makes him even harder to find. And that's how I sneak up on a lot of people with him. And it's hilarious because it makes the gauntlets and it makes the boots completely useless. And I love it. And I feel like that's what's making him overpowered to me. We'll see how it is whenever I don't use undetectable status, his stealth build. But until that happens, we'll see. But yeah, if you guys have been watching my gameplay while I'm talking, just know that I feel like Vecna from D&D, not Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons, for those of you that don't know what D&D stands for. Vecna is a really strong killer. I really like him. I don't know if he's S tier, but the way I play as him makes him seem like he's S tier. We'll see what people say in the future after he's been out for a couple of weeks. He's only been out for 5 days. Yeah, about 5 days. I had to look over the time. He is fun. I really enjoy playing as him. I don't know if I could play any other method with him because I really like the stealth build. We're gonna find out in the future when I do learning the killer with him, because I'm not gonna do the stealth build to learn him. I'm gonna do the other builds to learn him to see how the stealth build actually compares to that. Now I am gonna do a few episodes of him doing that outside of you guys just watching it right here next to me, or I'm just over commentating over it and stuff like that. We will see. And I'm gonna cut up the gameplay and stuff of all this stuff, so that way you don't sit there and just see one game. You get to see multiple as I'm doing this, because these games don't go very long sometimes, and I just 4K 4 or 5 gens. I've only had 4 survivors in total at this point leave and live, and it's hilarious. I don't count hatches because, well, one of them I should count. That'll make it 5 because, well, they had an offering for it. It wasn't random, and it was like opening the gate kind of thing if you think about it, because I ended up killing everybody. 2 hooking everyone and stuff like that, but those I did not record. And what you're seeing is I'm recording after I did this, and I'm just talking about my past experience. Unfortunately, I have been in pain to where I can't play very well, and unfortunately I had to stop playing a couple of rounds in the middle of the match, just so that way I could prop up my leg, take painkillers and so on and so forth. But I still ended up with 4Ks, even with the handicap, literally. That's the fun part. Unfortunately, what you guys are seeing is my gameplay in the future of me making this, so I wish I did record that stuff, but because I would fall asleep randomly, because the medicine, painkillers, they make you drowsy. I don't know if I should count those as actual wins slash losses, but from here on out, I am going to start counting them, and I am going to try to do a win streak with him once I start learning the killer thing with him, because as of right now, Deathslinger might be my worst killer, and I'm expecting him to stay that way unless they make it to where he was when he first was in the PTB, where you can aim down the sights and shoot in an instantaneous instead of wait a split second. I really hate that. And when I was playing Far Cry 6, and my friend, you know her, Shiloh, I played with her in Dead by Daylight all the time as a survivor. She notices the difference between my gameplay as the Deathslinger and Far Cry, because the second I aim down the sights in Far Cry, I could shoot. And she goes, "Oh my god, you're really good at this." I'm like, "Yeah, you see why I complain about Deathslinger?" I aim down the sights and I'm able to shoot in an instant. I don't have to wait a sec. It's really funny. I would show some gameplay of Far Cry 6, but I'm afraid that if I show Far Cry, this game is gruesome. 6 is gruesome. There are some things in this game that I'm afraid to show. And that's why I'm playing it off streams and off of all this stuff. And I would do it on Twitch, but Twitch is... I don't have a phone number to use. Every time I get a new number, it won't let me transfer over to the new phone number or anything. It literally won't let me do that. Otherwise, I'd stream on Twitch for games like Far Cry, because of how gory and gruesome it is, especially when it comes to, you know, a noose, I should say, and let's just say terroristic events that keep happening. I don't want to say just in case, because YouTube might flag that stuff. And yet they allowed Dead by Daylight. Okay, sorry about all this, but I just think this killer is a lot of fun. I really want more of him. He's definitely going to get hardcore nerfed back to where he was in the PTB for sure. I really don't want that, because his slowdown is obnoxious during the PTB. They should make it to where he's a little bit slower, a tad bit slower when he uses his powers outside of the hand, because the pallet makes sense. I mean, like, you're slowed down by the pallet and you gotta use the ability. I'm fine with that one. It's just everything else. I feel like that if he's not slowed down, make it to where it's harder for him to swing. I don't like it, but it's a good balance. Because if he's able to instantly move when he uses his abilities, it works. But if he's not able to swing right away, it makes it harder for him to hit. I don't care for that. It will be obnoxious, but that's how it is with Deathslinger 2. You aim down the sights and you literally have to wait like a half a second just to shoot, and I hate that. As an example, from Far Cry 6, I'm able to shoot from the hip and still shoot as I'm aiming into the sights. This guy has one shot and has to reload. Why can't he be like that? I know he has to reel them in. It makes it really hard to balance that kind of thing out, but I don't like that. That's not my thing. I've been playing first-person shooters since I was a baby. I was literally 3 years old when Doom came out. And when Doom came out, it was in 93, 92? I was 3 years old when it was released, and that's when I played it. And it was my first game I ever played, and so on and so forth, right? I just got good since then. And playing as Killer, Deathslinger, and being in particular, first person, it's not that hard for me. I understand, Huntress has to wait a sec to throw the hatchet. She has to wind it. It makes sense. Deathslinger doesn't have to wind. He has to reload. Make his reload slow. So that way, when he... Or make it to where reeling and or his cooldown after hitting long. Because if you make it to where it takes longer to reload and or hit them, that's a good balance. I'd rather be instant aim and shoot. I'm fine with all the other things being slowed down. That's all I have to say pretty much. I'm going off tangent pretty much about Vecna, the Lich, and I am enjoying him. I thought I was going to hate him in the PTB. I really did. He was already pretty strong in the PTB, but I felt like he was too slow. I feel like that he should only be he should only see his ability should only be seen by the survivors if they're wearing the boots and or gauntlets for that specific ability, and it would make sense. And you see the palette randomly pick up, but you don't see the hand. I'm fine with that. But if they're wearing that stuff to see it, you get to see the ability and his aura, which would be a really cool idea to do. That's what I think that should be done, because I feel like it's kind of broken that way. And that's why I do this Trail of Torment build with him. But yeah, alright. I'm going to end this now, before I make it too long. This is just like after the PTB, during the PTB, kind of talk about Vecna, or the Lich, as everybody should know him by, from the Dungeons & Dragons DLC of Dead by Daylight. And I'm really excited to play more of him. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the fog.
Decisions. Perhaps this will
Hey guys, I would do face cam right now, but for some reason it's not working. But I got my first salt after how many days has he been out? Excuse me. I was hiccuping. As the Lich. Lich. However you want to pronounce it. And it is from someone, and I think it is hilarious because they're like, do you play without a brain? Like, huh? Sorry for the sound effects. My camera is being stupid right now. I think it's more of the wire though. And I'm sitting here thinking, what's wrong with him? Do they not read the perks? Because I have wall hacks and I know how to utilize it. Like, you're gonna see the gameplay during this, because this is going to be one of those 4 videos that I'm going to be putting up during the... What the hell? My whole camera just reset. But yeah, I got my first salt and I said GG, and they're like, you're playing without a brain? Like, huh? I was like, salt! I guess. Woo! First one for the Lich. I meant to put the I, but I put E instead on accident. And they're like, it's called Lich. Actually, I play strategic, and they say, no, my team were running right into you and dying. I unhook him, and he ran into you. LOL. I was like, they weren't. To unhook someone else. And I said, I could see them. Wall hacks. Work on Jin. Get screams. Let me see you. If you think you're good, take it with you. And I'm like, that's called skill. And I was going to tell him about the other day. I've had almost a whole team get out with doing all 5 Jins, but they weren't able to open the gate because, unfortunately, the gates were too close. And I think they need to fix that, where it should be randomized again for that new level that they made, because it's stuck right there. But yeah, this is bonus content that I have during my thoughts on the Lich before I even start doing it.